Chosen one, let me speak to you plainly and from the heart, because you didn't arrive here by coincidence. Something nudged you, something higher, something wiser, something in your spirit that recognizes truth when it hears it. This moment isn't random. It's timing, divine timing, the kind that aligns not just your day, but your destiny. You didn't just click a video. You were drawn into a moment that carries weight, a moment where heaven leans in. You may not realize it, but you're standing right at the edge of a shift. Not a subtle one, the kind that redefines seasons, rewrites stories, and signals that the waiting period you've endured is finally meeting its purpose. And I want you to breathe that in for a moment, because this is your reminder that God hasn't forgotten you. You've been sensing something, haven't you? A stirring inside you, a quiet awareness that something is changing. It's like the atmosphere around your life has been tightening, stretching, preparing. And while you've been questioning yourself, heaven has been preparing the next chapter with precision. Scripture says that the vision is for an appointed time, not any time, not every time, the time. And chosen one, that time is leaning toward you now. You may have felt overlooked or delayed, but delay is not denial. Sometimes heaven aligns things behind the scenes long before you ever see a result in front of you. Think about it. Seasons shift long before you feel the change in the wind. Roots grow long before you see the tree break through the soil. Answers form long before you hear them, and your life is no different. What you thought was stillness was actually setup. What felt like silence was strategy. Heaven has been aligning pieces, preparing paths, and clearing obstacles long before you had the strength to walk them. And here's the wild part. What you did today, what seemed small or ordinary or even insignificant, made heaven erupt in victory. You may not think much of it. Maybe it was a prayer whispered between tears. Maybe it was choosing peace when anger felt easier. Maybe it was refusing to give up even though giving up felt justified. Maybe it was deciding to keep faith for one more day. You didn't see fireworks, you didn't hear applause, you didn't feel powerful. But heaven did. Heaven felt the tremor of your yes. Heaven heard the sound of your resilience. And the moment your heart leaned toward obedience, the atmosphere shifted. We often judge ourselves by what we see. We measure our steps, compare our timing, minimize our progress. But heaven sees differently. Heaven sees the weight of every choice, every step, every act of faith you make when you're tired, uncertain, or afraid. Heaven sees the courage in you that you overlook. It sees the seeds you've planted in secret, seeds that look small to you but look like entire forests to God. You may look at your life and see trembling steps, but heaven sees the beginning of acceleration. You may look at your prayer and see weakness, but heaven sees thunder. You may look at the day you just lived and think nothing changed, but heaven has already declared victory over it. Chosen one, hear this. The enemy counted on your exhaustion. He studied your patterns, your old reactions, your past hesitations. He tried to predict your decisions. He built traps around your weaknesses. And yet today, you broke the script. You did something different. You chose differently. You responded with faith instead of fear. You walked forward when falling back seemed easier. You opened your heart when shutting down felt safer. And that one act, small in your eyes, seismic in heaven, was enough to collapse everything the enemy thought he understood about you. That is why God laughed today, not in mockery, but in triumph, in certainty, in victory. Heaven's laughter is not shallow amusement. It is divine proclamation. It is the announcement that the plans set against you have failed once again and will keep failing as long as you continue stepping forward. And here's a truth many people never realize. Survival is not small. Survival is not weakness. Survival is testimony. Every breath you take is proof of the plans that didn't work. Every sunrise you wake to is evidence that the darkness didn't win. Every time you choose hope, even when it feels like lifting a mountain, heaven sees that as victory. You're not just enduring, you're advancing. You don't even realize how strong you are, because you've lived inside your battles for so long that your own resilience feels normal. But it's not normal. It's extraordinary. You're still standing after storms that were designed to level you. You're still here after nights that were meant to silence you. You've walked through things that would have destroyed someone else, but you emerged with your faith, maybe shaken, maybe tired, but still intact. This is why the ground is shifting beneath you now. Heaven celebrates not when you finish the journey, but when you take the step. That trembling step you took today, the one you thought nobody noticed, carried eternal weight. It triggered movement in unseen realms. It shook doors. It stirred destiny. And while you were just trying to make it through your day, heaven was already laughing in victory because God has already seen where this step leads. Let this truth wash over you. You're not behind. You're not forgotten. You're not wandering aimlessly. You are aligned with purpose, guided with intention, and surrounded by favor even when you can't see it. And the laughter of heaven over your life is the sound of assurance. Your breakthrough has already begun. Chosen one, lean in a little closer because what I'm about to speak isn't just encouragement, it's alignment, it's calibration. It's the reminder your spirit has been craving without having the language for it. You see, heaven doesn't celebrate noise, performance, or public applause the way people do. Heaven celebrates depth. Heaven responds to sincerity. Heaven magnifies what no one else sees. And today, without even realizing it, you stepped into a moment that heaven considers monumental. You may have felt like you were barely getting through the day, like you were just pushing one more inch forward. But in the unseen realm, it looked like fire, like light breaking through clouds, like a declaration that said, "I refuse to quit." And God saw that. God honored that. God laughed in triumph because your obedience, quiet, trembling, hidden, carried more spiritual power than you could possibly measure. You might not feel like a warrior. You might not see yourself as someone capable of shaking atmospheres. But heaven does. Heaven understands the weight of endurance. Heaven knows what it means when someone who has been battered by life still chooses faith. Heaven celebrates when you choose peace over pettiness, when you forgive even though resentment would feel justified, when you take a breath instead of breaking down, when you pray instead of panicking. These are not small things. These are kingdom things, and every single one of them shifts something in your life. Maybe you've been walking through a season where everything felt hidden. The progress felt slow. The breakthroughs felt distant. The answers seemed delayed. You wondered if God was even listening, if your tears were even seen, if your prayers were even reaching beyond your ceiling. But hear me, hidden seasons are not empty ones. Hidden seasons are construction zones. They are cultivation periods. They are where roots grow deep enough to hold the weight of the blessing that's coming. Think of a seed. It spends most of its early life buried. No light, no recognition, no applause. But beneath the surface, it is expanding, strengthening, preparing. That was you. You weren't buried, you were planted, and now heaven's laughter is the sign that what's been growing underground is ready to break through. This is why you felt the intensity lately. Whenever something is about to emerge, the pressure builds. Whenever something is close to shifting, the resistance increases. You're not crazy. You're not imagining the spiritual tension. It's the signal that the season is changing. Heaven laughs because the enemy thought the pressure would break you, but instead, it's about to elevate you. The enemy studied who you used to be. He planned his traps based on your past. He expected you to react the way you once did, to retreat, to shrink, to silence yourself. But today, you broke the pattern. You walked differently. You spoke differently. You chose differently. And pattern breaking is prophetic. It sends a message into the atmosphere. This cycle ends with me. Heaven hears that and responds with triumph. And let me tell you something important. God is not waiting for your perfection. He never has. Perfection was never the requirement. Obedience was. Sincerity was. A willing heart was. Heaven celebrates progress long before perfection ever shows up. Think of a child taking their first steps. The parent doesn't scold them for wobbling or stumbling. They celebrate the movement, the courage, the attempt. That's how God looks at you, through the lens of love, not judgment. Through the lens of potential, not mistakes. Through the lens of destiny, not delays. Heaven rejoiced today because your step, wobbly or not, was movement. And movement means momentum. Chosen one, your survival alone has already humiliated the darkness set against you. You don't even realize how many traps you've walked past, how many attacks you've outlived, how many storms you've already defeated simply by waking up and choosing to continue. Every day you rise, every breath you take, Every attempt you make sends a message that the enemy's plans have failed once again. And if he couldn't take you out in your weakest moments, imagine what he fears now that your spirit is awakening. But I want you to understand something deeper. Heaven does not measure significance the way the world does. The world measures visibility. Heaven measures faith. The world celebrates the spectacular. Heaven celebrates the sincere. The world rewards outcomes. Heaven rewards obedience. You may feel unseen. You may feel overlooked. You may feel like your life has been happening in the shadows. But heaven is drawn to the shadows. God sees clearly what happens in silence, and not one act of faith from you, no matter how small, has been wasted. Think of the times you prayed through tears when your voice was barely above a whisper. Think of the forgiveness you gave even when no apology came. Think of the patience you practiced when frustration wanted to take over. Think of the bite marks on your tongue from battles you chose not to fight. Think of the nights you stayed up wrestling with doubt but chose to hope anyway. These moments didn't vanish. They built something. They shaped something. They formed a spiritual authority in you that you don't even fully understand yet. And today, chosen one, heaven recorded your obedience. Heaven magnified your resilience. Heaven responded to your endurance. God laughed, not because of your flawlessness, but because your faith broke something open. You broke cycles you didn't even know you were breaking. You planted seeds you didn't realize were seeds. You shifted the atmosphere without seeing the shift yet. And while your natural eyes see ordinary steps, heaven sees acceleration. Heaven sees doors opening. Heaven sees timelines shifting. Heaven sees momentum building. So hold this truth close. Survival is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of increase. You didn't come this far just to come this far. You've been prepared. You've been strengthened. You've been refined. And now you're stepping into the moment where hidden power becomes visible victory. Heaven laughed because the next chapter has already begun. Chosen one, let your heart settle for a moment, because where we're going now reaches deeper than motivation or encouragement. It reaches into the roots of who you are becoming. You've walked through long nights, seasons where you questioned if anything you were doing mattered, if your steps were too small, if your prayers were too weak, if your timing was too late. But heaven sees what you cannot, and today I want to help you see even a glimpse of what God has already witnessed in you. Heaven celebrates the first step as much as the finish line. That trembling yes you gave today, yes to healing, yes to forgiveness, yes to trusting again, yes to trying again, was powerful enough to move things in the unseen realm. And even if you don't feel that power yet, heaven does. Heaven measures faith, not feelings. Heaven measures obedience, not perfection. Heaven measures sincerity, not spectacle. You've been conditioned by the world to think progress is only meaningful when it's visible, when it's loud, when it's applauded. But God measures differently. Some of the most life-changing decisions you'll ever make will happen in private. Some of your greatest victories will occur without an audience. Heaven leans in when you whisper prayers in the dark. Heaven records the tears no one sees. Heaven celebrates the courage that rises in you when you feel like collapsing. And today, that courage in you echoed through eternity. You may have felt like you were whispering, but in heaven, it was thunder. You've been through battles that drained you emotionally, spiritually, mentally, seasons where survival didn't feel like victory, but like exhaustion. Yet heaven sees survival as evidence of divine purpose. Every time you exhaled when anxiety tried to suffocate you, heaven rejoiced. Every time you chose to keep going when everything in you wanted to stop, heaven moved. Every time you forgave without closure, trusted without confirmation, showed kindness without recognition, heaven honored that. This is why the laughter of God is surrounding you now. It's the victory cry over every unseen battle you fought, every silent night you endured, every prayer you whispered, even when you doubted whether anyone was listening. And now, something extraordinary is happening. You're in a season where the smallest act of obedience cracks open doors that once seemed sealed shut. This is what acceleration feels like, not always dramatic or loud, but undeniable. The atmosphere around your life is shifting because you made one decision that heaven could bless, one decision that signaled you were ready to step forward rather than shrink back. And that decision, the one you thought barely mattered, was the stone that hit the water and created ripples stretching far beyond your imagination. Your obedience today is shaping not only your future, but futures connected to. You generations you will never meet are being set free because you broke a pattern, because you said yes where others said no, because you chose healing instead of generational hurt, because you chose growth instead of repeating cycles that once felt inescapable. Do not underestimate the weight of breaking patterns. Pattern breaking is prophetic, it's warfare, it's legacy building. Every time you resist an old temptation, you stop a cycle from continuing. Every time you choose patience over outburst, you shift generational energy. Every time you choose truth over convenience, you strengthen your spiritual authority. Every time you choose faith over fear, even if it trembles, heaven laughs because the script the enemy wrote for you is no longer valid. The enemy counted on your exhaustion. He counted on your insecurity. He counted on your past mistakes to trap you. But today, you disrupted his strategy. You walked past traps designed specifically for you. You silenced lies meant to suffocate you. You stepped into courage that came from somewhere deeper than your own strength. And because of that, heaven celebrated with a victorious laugh, a laugh that announces, "The plan against you has failed again." And chosen one, let me make this clear. You haven't even seen the full harvest of the seeds you've been planting. There are prayers you prayed so long ago that you forgot, but heaven didn't. There are sacrifices you made that no one acknowledged, but heaven recorded every one of them. There are battles you fought quietly that strengthened your character, deepened your wisdom, and sharpened your discernment. And now you're stepping into a season where those unseen investments will yield visible return. You are entering a time when doors that resisted you before will start to respond. Not because you suddenly became perfect, but because you became aligned, because your heart posture has positioned you for favor, because heaven's laughter has signaled a shift in timing. This is the season where what felt buried begins to sprout, what felt stagnant begins to move, what felt delayed begins to accelerate. God has been preparing you in silence for opportunities you couldn't have carried before. Your waiting season wasn't punishment, it was preparation. You were being strengthened internally so you wouldn't collapse under the weight of what's coming. And now the laughter of heaven is washing over the soil of your life like rain, awakening seeds you didn't even realize were still alive. Chosen one, take this to heart. You are not just stepping into victory, you are stepping into identity, into purpose, into clarity, into confidence that doesn't come from performance, but from divine approval. You're walking into rooms you once felt unqualified for because now you understand your worth wasn't built on applause, but on alignment. You're entering a season where the hidden parts of your journey become the very things that empower your public breakthroughs. And heaven laughs because the storyline that once looked uncertain to you has always been finished in victory from God's perspective. This is just the beginning of what God is unfolding around you. The shift is real and the momentum is building. Chosen one, take a deep breath as we step deeper into this revelation, because what's unfolding in your life right now is not accidental, not coincidental, and certainly not insignificant. You're entering a season where the unseen foundations you've been building, through prayer, through endurance, through sacrifice, through silent growth, are finally beginning to carry visible weight. And heaven is not merely observing. Heaven is actively involved, actively celebrating, actively shifting the atmosphere around you. When God laughs, it is not the laughter of casual amusement. It is the laughter of certainty, the laughter of authority, the laughter of a king who sees the ending of your story and is already rejoicing in it. That laughter has gone ahead of you, and it's clearing paths you once thought were dead ends. It's loosening chains you didn't even know you were dragging. It's collapsing obstacles that have stood in your way for years. This divine laughter, this holy triumph, signals that you're stepping out of one season and into another, and nothing can stop what's been set in motion. You may feel like you haven't done enough. You may think your efforts are small, or inconsistent, or unimpressive. But heaven measures differently. Heaven sees the first step as the breakthrough. Heaven honors the intention of your heart before the outcome even forms. The world demands evidence before celebrating, but heaven celebrates the decision itself. You've been walking through places that felt lonely, felt confusing, felt heavy, felt like your prayers just disappeared into the air. But I promise you, nothing you've done in faith has been wasted. Not one tear, not one whisper, not one act of kindness you offered when your own heart was hurting. not one boundary you set to protect your peace. Every one of those moments has been building the framework for where you are going next. And, chosen one, what's remarkable is how heaven celebrates not just the victories you see, but the ones you don't. The times you said nothing when anger could have spoken. The times you forgave without getting closure. The times you stayed when quitting seemed easier. The times you walked away from what didn't honor you. These choices were spiritual warfare. They broke traps that were designed to hold you. They silenced voices that were meant to distract you. They dismantled patterns that would have sabotaged your destiny. You may have viewed those decisions as small acts of self-control or emotional maturity, but heaven saw them as prophetic steps forward. Heaven saw them as declarations that you refuse to repeat cycles that once defined you. This is why the laughter of God is so powerful, because His joy is connected to what He sees unfolding for you. There are blessings approaching you that your eyes haven't seen, your heart hasn't imagined, and your mind hasn't fully grasped. There are breakthroughs already assigned to your name. There are doors that have been closed for years that are starting to tremble at the hinges because the timing is shifting. There are opportunities that were out of reach before that are now aligning perfectly, not because you forced anything, but because you endured long enough for God's timing to catch up with your preparation. Chosen one, understand this. Heaven is not laughing because you're perfect. Heaven is laughing because your obedience, however flawed, however fragile, was enough to realign your future. God is not waiting for you to have everything figured out. He is responding to your willingness to trust Him even when you don't see the whole picture. He is responding to your openness, your sincerity, your humility. He is responding to the purity of your yes, not the polish of your performance. And that yes has created spiritual momentum that nothing in the natural world can stop. You've been feeling it, haven't you? That sense that something is shifting internally, like clarity is forming where confusion once lived, like peace is settling into places that used to carry chaos, like your heart is starting to breathe again. That shift is not random. It's evidence that heaven's laughter has already reached your atmosphere. Something is being unlocked in you, strength you didn't know you had, wisdom you quietly gained through hardship, confidence that doesn't feel forced or loud, but steady and grounded. You are entering a season where the lessons you learned in the shadows will become your greatest strengths in the light. The wounds you have healed from will become your authority. The broken pieces that once felt like scattered fragments are becoming the mosaic of your purpose. And here's the extraordinary part. Your breakthrough isn't just for you. Your obedience is unlocking blessings for people connected to you. Family members, future children, friends, even strangers who will someday cross your path. Heaven laughs because God sees the ripple effect of your yes. He sees the freedom that will flow from your healing. He sees the transformation that will come from your decision to rise. You are carrying more than your own story. You're carrying generational influence. You're carrying spiritual inheritance. And this is why the battles you faced were so intense, because the enemy wasn't just trying to stop you. He was trying to stop everything that would flow through you. But he failed. And heaven laughed. Chosen one, this is your moment to lift your head, not in arrogance, but in holy confidence. You don't have to shrink anymore. You don't have to apologize for being chosen. You don't have to question whether you're enough. Heaven's laughter is your answer. It means the victory is already secure. It means the tide has turned. It means you're stepping into the part of the story where momentum increases, doors open, and blessings begin to manifest in ways that make you look back and say, "Now I understand why it took so long." You're not walking toward victory anymore. You're walking from it. Chosen one, as we continue, I need you to understand something that many people spend their whole lives missing. The laughter of heaven is not just a sound. It is a signal. It is activation. When God laughs over your life, it means things have already shifted in realms you cannot see yet. It means the atmosphere around you has started rearranging itself to match the destiny written for you long before you ever took your first breath. You may not feel it fully, you may not see all the proof yet, but chosen one, the alignment has already begun. There is movement happening around your name. There is favor tracking toward you that you didn't chase, and blessings being released that you didn't have to fight for. When God laughs, it's not reaction, it's revelation. It reveals that the outcome has already been decided in your favor. You've spent years in seasons that looked like delay, looked like silence, looked like doors that wouldn't open no matter how faithfully you knocked. You felt like God had paused your story, as if everyone else was moving forward while you remained in the same place. But hear me clearly. When heaven seems silent, heaven is building. What you thought was stagnation was actually hidden restructuring. God wasn't ignoring you, He was preparing you. He was shaping your character, your discernment, your endurance, your spiritual strength, so you would not collapse under the weight of what He planned to release. He was teaching you how to navigate pressure, how to trust when nothing made sense, how to depend on Him rather than leaning on your own understanding. These years were not wasted, they were sacred construction. Some blessings can only be carried by someone who has been tested. Some doors only open for those who learn to pray in the dark. Some opportunities require the kind of maturity that only comes from being stretched. And chosen one, you've been stretched. You've walked through wilderness seasons where God did not answer immediately, where you had to learn to wait without losing faith. You had to learn to trust without proof. You had to learn to hold on when holding on felt like its own battle. But that waiting shaped you. That struggle refined you. That stretching prepared you for influence, responsibility, and authority you couldn't have carried before. And now, heaven laughs because the construction phase is ending and the manifestation phase is beginning. You might look around and still see challenges, but heaven sees completion. You might still feel unqualified, but heaven sees you anointed. You might feel like you're only surviving, but survival itself is prophetic, because every day you survived was a day the enemy's plan failed yet again. And that failure has accumulated. The enemy has run out of strategies, out of predictions, out of traps that can hold you because you've matured beyond what once defeated you. You are not the same person you were in the last season. You don't respond the same way. You don't break the same way. You don't doubt the same way. What used to derail you now strengthens you. What used to intimidate you now annoys you. What used to confuse you now clarifies you. This is why heaven laughs. Because the enemy expected you to fold, but instead you found endurance. He counted on your exhaustion, but instead you found renewal. He expected your silence, but instead you found your voice. He projected your downfall using patterns from your past, but he never accounted for your breakthrough, for your growth, for the awakening happening inside of you. He studied who you used to be, but heaven sees who you are becoming. And those two versions no longer match. The old script doesn't fit you anymore. The enemy's predictions are outdated. His traps are ineffective. His strategies are powerless. That alone is worth heaven's laughter. Chosen one, this is where the scales begin to tip. You're moving into a season where what you planted in tears is coming back to you in abundance. What you thought died was actually germinating. What you thought was buried was really being rooted. Every quiet yes you gave, yes to healing, yes to trusting, yes to rebuilding, yes to believing again, is producing harvest. And when heaven laughs, doors respond. When heaven laughs, timelines shift. When heaven laughs, opportunities start aligning with your steps instead of your struggle. This is not coincidence. This is divine orchestration. And hear me clearly, your breakthrough is never just about you. It is connected to lives you will touch, hearts you will inspire, people who will look at your resilience and realize they can rise too. Heaven laughs because your story is bigger than your pain. Your obedience is unlocking generational blessings. Your endurance is breaking generational cycles. Your yes is echoing through bloodlines, correcting patterns, setting others free. You may feel like you're simply surviving, but heaven sees revival beginning in you. Heaven sees the ripple effect of your transformation. This is why you must walk differently now. Lift your head, speak with authority, carry yourself with assurance, not arrogance, assurance. Assurance that comes from knowing heaven has celebrated you long before people ever will. Assurance that comes from knowing God's approval outweighs any human applause. Assurance that comes from trusting that if heaven is laughing, then the outcome is already sealed. Chosen one, you don't need to strive for victory anymore. You are advancing from victory already secured. You don't need to beg for favor. You carry favor. You don't need to fear what's ahead. Heaven has already stepped into your tomorrow and declared, "It is good." And that is enough. You are closer than you think. You are stronger than you know. And the story is shifting in your favor, not someday, not eventually. Now. Chosen one, as we step into this final part, let your heart stay open because everything you've heard up until now has been preparing you for this moment, the moment where revelation becomes action, where understanding becomes movement, where the weight of heaven's laughter becomes the fuel that carries you forward. You need to feel this deeply. The story is not ending here. This is not a conclusion. This is an activation. Heaven's laughter didn't just signal breakthrough, it awakened a new chapter that has been dormant inside you for longer than you realized. Everything you walked through, the pain, the waiting, the silence, the obedience that felt unnoticed, has been shaping your voice, your purpose, your authority. And now, you've reached the point in the story where you're no longer crawling toward victory. You are rising from it, you are stepping into it, you are becoming it. Chosen one, your journey has weight, your scars have meaning, your resilience has been teaching others even when you didn't know anyone was watching. Every time you stood back up, someone else gained the courage to stand. Every time you prayed through your pain, someone else found a reason to hope. Your obedience has never been small. It has been echoing through your world like ripples pushing outward, touching hearts, opening paths, and setting foundations for people who may never tell you how much your endurance impacted them. Heaven laughs because God sees the full ripple effect, how your yes today shapes generations tomorrow. You are carrying legacy, not just personal victory. You are walking in purpose, not coincidence. And your story is about to testify in ways that reach much farther than your own life. This is why the emotion of this moment matters. Every story that transforms lives carries emotion. Every message that truly reaches hearts carries empathy. And chosen one, you've lived a story that holds both. People will resonate with you not because you are perfect, but because you are real. They will connect to your journey because your survival is relatable, your battles are familiar, and your endurance mirrors something they've felt but couldn't articulate. You weren't meant to hide your scars. You were meant to turn them into maps for others. You weren't meant to diminish your experiences. You were meant to let them shine so others can find themselves in your story. Emotional truth is not weakness. It is ministry. It is connection. It is power. Now let's talk about where this moment leads, because heaven's laughter wasn't just a reaction to what you did today, it was a prophecy for what comes next. You're stepping into a season where what felt hard will start to feel aligned, where what felt unclear will start to make sense, where what felt heavy will begin to lighten. And as this shift unfolds, you must carry confidence with you. Not the loud, boastful kind, but the rooted, quiet boldness that comes from knowing heaven has already spoken over your life. Walk into your opportunities with your shoulders back. Speak your truth without shrinking. Share your story without apologizing. Move through your calling without waiting for permission. Heaven has already approved you. Heaven has already celebrated you. Heaven has already gone ahead of you. And chosen one, as this chapter opens, your voice becomes even more important. Your presence becomes more important. Your connection with others becomes more important. You were never meant to walk this out alone. You were meant to be part of a community, a movement, a space where people can experience breakthrough through the power of shared experience. That's the beauty of platforms like this. This is more than a video. It's more than words. It's a place where hearts gather, where hope ignites, where lives shift, where someone on the edge of giving up finds one more reason to keep going. So let me speak directly to your heart and your humanity. If this message stirred something in you, it's because your spirit recognizes truth when it hears it. If you felt seen, it's because heaven is confirming exactly what you needed to hear. If you felt strengthened, it's because your next chapter requires this new level of boldness, confidence, and emotional clarity. And chosen one, if you felt a rise in your chest, a tug, a warmth, a spark, that's your spirit saying, "This is my word, this is my moment." This is also where your voice matters. Your interaction, your presence, your engagement becomes part of the ripple. When you comment, you're not just typing words, you're releasing agreement into the atmosphere. When you like and share, you become a bridge for someone else's breakthrough. You help more people encounter the message their spirit has been crying out for. When you subscribe, you're not just supporting a channel, you're planting yourself in a space aligned with your growth, your healing, and your destiny. Your engagement becomes spiritual alignment. Your presence becomes part of this movement. So, chosen one, if this message touched you, I want you to release it back into the world. Tap the like button if your heart felt the shift. Subscribe so you never miss another word that speaks to the deepest parts of who you are. And in the comments, declare boldly, I receive this victory. Speak it publicly. Claim it with your voice. Every declaration creates momentum. Every agreement multiplies the blessing. And every comment becomes not just a response, but a seed, an act of faith echoing back into heaven. Before we close, let me bless you with this. May courage sit gently on your chest. May clarity guide your steps. May peace guard your mind. And may heaven's laughter continue to echo over your life louder than fear, louder than doubt, louder than every lie that once tried to hold you captive. You are chosen. You are anointed. You are walking in a victory that no force of darkness can undo. Go forward with confidence, chosen one. Heaven has laughed, and your story is already written in triumph.